It's David Ducker coming back at you. And today I'm going to be talking about the quintessential superhero mini campaign. This is how I do it, how I would do it, how I could do it, and how you can do it too. So get your players to make their heroes. You're going to have the superhero team. But as they're doing that, tell them also make an arch enemy for your hero. So if your character's Superman, you got to say, okay, well, I'm also going to make Lex Luthor. If your character is Iron Man, you got to plug in the Mandarin. You know, if you're Spawn, get Malebolgia on the other side. As a GM, you're now enlisting the players to help you with your prep. And superhero games are typically very, very, very high prep. So this is very important in a superhero game especially. This can benefit any campaign, but a superhero game, it really will help you a lot. So they've got their characters, they've got their team, they each have an arch enemy. Now you begin, your exposition and adventure phase, the rising action. So you're going to go through each villain one by one. Each villain gets his own session to vex the heroes. So if we've got now our three-man band, we've got Spawn, Superman, and Iron Man all teamed up. Maybe the first issue is going to be Lex Luthor, and maybe he's violating the rights of his workers at his corporation. And you have to find evidence of this, and you have to find a district attorney who will prosecute him. You have to capture him, take him to trial, guard him in prison, see that he stands trial, and deal with all of that. That could easily be a full session dealing with Lex Luthor, the corrupt corporate executive. At the end of the session, bang, he's off to jail. Great. Session 2, now we're going to have the Mandarin. So maybe we have the Mandarin is trying to have a coup and take over China. He's trying to become the president or the prefect of China. So you have to go in there and see what's the political situation. What are the strings he's trying to pull? Who is he trying to assassinate? What are the assassins he's employing? You've got to step by step try to play this chess game and counter the Mandarin. And at the end of the day, you capture him too. Throw him in super prison. The vault or the raft or whatever it's called. Session 3, Malebolgia. Demonic incursion. Portal to hell. Fiends streaming out. They're eating people. They're mutilating babies. They're doing horrible things. Just despicable. And you've got to go in and put the beat down on these demons. And then Malebolgia himself crawls out of hell. He's 75 feet tall, and the three of you have to lay a real superhero beatdown, drop a building on top of him, whatever it takes. And at the end of the day, because it's superheroes, maybe he goes in super jail too. You'll put the devil in jail. Or maybe we get his head cultist in jail. And we could do a whole session, instead of the incursion itself, it could just be the cultist trying to summon him, and he needs to gather certain artifacts, maybe from the Middle Ages. He needs to raid the Vatican archives to release Malebolgia. And he's the one who you get in jail, whether the incursion happens or not. So now you got these three supervillains in jail. We've been doing our rising action, right? The supervillains break out of jail. And for that session, it might even be fun to give the supervillains over to the players and say, okay, now you're going to play the villains, and you're going to be escaping super jail together. Or you could do it off screen, whatever you want, whatever works best for your group. But the villains team up. They form the Legion of Doom, the Masters of Evil, the Brotherhood of Mutants, whatever you want to call the group. Or maybe just don't name the group. It doesn't matter. The Sinister Syndicate. The Four Horsemen, whatever you want. Woo! And the villain team up happens. And now, they've all been foiled separately. So now either they're going to have their own unified goal, or more likely, their goal is going to be put the beat down on the heroes. They put us in super jail. Now that we're out, we're going to make sure they never interfere with us again. We're going to go and take them out. And this leads to the climax, the big superhero battle. 3-on-3 in this case, but of course 6-on-6, 6-on-12, whatever you want to do, whatever fits your game best, do that. Climactic battle. Do it up. Superhero style. Big. Bombastic. And once you've hit that, we can say, okay, that was our climax. We're going to now denouement. We're going to epilogue. The campaign is over. Maybe there will be a sequel campaign at some point in the future, but it's kind of hard to beat that. If you did want to beat it, what could you do? You could do the galactic threat, Galactus, or the Anti-Monitor. Something so big and so bad, Satan himself, Cthulhu. Something so big and so bad that the heroes and the villains team up to stop it. If you wanted to add another arc, that would be an excellent arc to add on. What the Sentinels could be, that big bad threat. Whatever would get the heroes and villains together, you can do that as well. And then once that's done, then you can end it. So there are multiple endpoints you could go to depending on, what your group is feeling, what you have time to do. But this is kind of my go-to. And you can use this same formula over and over and over and over. And it will be very different every time. Because instead of Iron Man and Superman and Spawn, what if we get in the Incredible Hulk and Green Lantern and Green Arrow and the Green Hornet? Let's get the Team Green. We'll get these guys in there. And now their capabilities are going to be so different. The way the government and religion and the military looks at them are going to be so different. And then get their villains in there. So we'll get the Leader opposing the Hulk. We'll get the Rainbow Archer opposing Green Arrow. We'll get, did I say Green? Yeah, Green Arrow's in there. Oh, Count Vertigo's a better Green Arrow villain, but I love the Rainbow Archer. And we'll get, maybe, Sinestro's so obvious. Let's get Star Sapphire in for the Green Lantern. Green Lantern's ex-girlfriend gone bad. Much more interesting than Sinestro. Although Sinestro is a great character as well. And then Green Hornet, what kind of villain can we get in for Green Hornet? Maybe dust off the old Yellow Claw. The Claw from Marvel Comics. It fits well with the Green Hornet's mythology, even though they've never actually met each other. Because I can't think of any good Green Hornet villains off the top of my head. He usually just fights gangsters. And you could certainly just do gangsters, too, whatever you want. But that'll be so different when you get Star Sapphire, the Leader, the Rainbow Archer, and the Yellow Claw teaming up. That'll be so different from, Malebolgia, the Mandarin, and Lex Luthor. So you can use this over and over again. And for your big threat, instead of Galactus, plug in Anti-Monitor. Or instead of Anti-Monitor, plug in Great Cthulhu. Or whatever you want. But it's a really resilient formula. And you don't have to use it with superheroes, but it works really well with superheroes. Other campaign modes, they require less prep than superheroes, and they're less character-driven than superheroes, so there are more options. But with superheroes, it's so character-driven, it's so high prep, that it really kind of forces you to keep everything very simple, unless you want to spend, a million years prepping your game, which I don't want to do, and I don't think you want to do, and I wouldn't advocate you doing that, because I think it would be a waste of your time, just as it would be a waste of my time. But I hope I've not wasted your time with the video. In the comments below, let me know what you think of this idea. and hit me up with your homebrew superhero and his villain or her villain. And until I see you again, good day and good gaming.